EU will make it difficult. Brexiteer blasts Brussels officials for Brexit bullying. The European Union will not give the UK the best possible Brexit deal to discourage other EU member states from turning against Brussels. Speaking exclusively to Express.co.uk, Mr. Lilley said, "We shouldn't think that they are particularly strong, but they will stick together and they will make it difficult for us to have a free trade deal. That would be in their interest, in ours, because it's important to them that we are seen to not get the best possible deal to discourage their own voters from voting for Eurosceptic parties." Mr. Lilley said the EU could not take the risk of Brexit spurring populist movements into ramping up their anti-EU campaigns. The former MP continued, "I personally don't think there's the slightest chance of any other country following us out of the EU. But they can't take that risk. They are prepared to cut off their nose to spite their face." The staunch Brexiteer also claimed Brussels was flouting the law with its allegedly erroneous interpretation of Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty, the body of law regulating the UK exit process from the European Union. Mr. Lilley said the EU should have agreed on a framework for the future relationship with London on which Brexit talks would have been based. He added, "The logical implication of Article 50 is you must first agree, at least outline, what the framework of the future relationship is before you decide on all the nuts and bolts of leaving. They've chosen to ignore that, and it makes a nonsense of Article 50. It makes a nonsense of much of the negotiations. They are, I think, flouting the law, and we should have probably have gone there with a bevy of lawyers and said, look, this is what it said. There is no other interpretation." The seasoned Eurosceptic served in Parliament for 34 years, first as MP for St Albans, later for the Hitchin and Harpenden constituency, and sat in the Exiting the European Union Committee since its creation following the referendum until his retirement in the spring of 2017. Despite the end of his political career, Mr. Lilley remains a vocal proponent of Brexit and warned the EU would try to negatively affect the Brexit negotiations with EU negotiator Michel Barnier. He continued, "I think the negotiations are fairly predictable. People in this country don't seem to recognize that our negotiating partners in Europe have one overriding objective, and that is the UK seem to get a bad deal. All this idea that they are going to become all loving and friendly, and give us a free trade deal at the end of it is probably pie in the sky." The European Commission has been contacted for comment.